Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today I am going to be talking about my spring TBR, all of the books I want to read this spring. I was going to do a spring recommendation video, but then I realized that the books I read are literally all over the place, and I I didn't have enough books for that video. So let's talk about the books I want to read and you guys can get some inspiration from this book stack. I'm really terrible with TBRs. Like, I'm genuinely absolutely terrible. I'm so bad. So monthly TBRs are out of the window, but I think seasonal TBRs are here to stay. So I'm going to be doing like spring, summer, fall, winter, you know, and we're just going to be going with that vibe. So this is the spring TBR. Let's go through all of the books I want to read. 15 books for the spring, which honestly is not that bad considering spring literally just started. The first book I want to read is You Dreamed of Empires, which is a reimagined of the colonization of Tenochtitlan, which is modern day Mexico City, and the the Aztec Empire. Yeah, when I was in Mexico City, I obviously went to a lot of archaeological sites and saw a lot of the ruins and a lot of museums about their history. And Tenochtitlan was the heart of the empire, and that empire was immense, incredible. It's actually really sad how much people downplay it, not only in history and in like historical spheres, like in historical just like hangouts, I guess. Like I feel like historians and just don't talk about it enough. Like, we're always about like the English royalty, which is like fine, but like this empire was immense and incredible, you know? But obviously colonization happened, and so this is a reimagined of like what would have happened if the ending was different, you know? So if Tenochtitlan hadn't been colonized, and it's so interesting, it's short, and I've been wanting to get to it, and I adore Mexico City, I adore Mexico. I was trying to say I adore Mexican. I adore Mexican culture and history, and American history especially. I feel like a lot of the time people are like reduce American history to just like the United States history, which like, yeah, obviously it's included, but I love American history, like all of the Americas. So next book is This Love, which is kind of like a queer one day. One day is like, if you haven't seen the show or read the book, it's kind of this like really crazy love story, but like they never really get together kind of vibe. Like it spans over decades or a decade. And so this book spans over a decade, and it's between two girls who meet outside of a crowded gay bar when they're in university, and then for the 10 years after, they're having their one day moment, you know, right person, wrong time. And I love a good depressing queer book. I know I should love the little cheesy little contemporary rom-coms, and I do, but I do like when queer novels are depressing as hell. So I don't think it's gonna be like that depressing, but I definitely think it's gonna have some substance and some depth, and I'm really excited for it. Next book is by Tia Williams, The Perfect Find. I have read all of Tia Williams' books except this one, or all of them that are out except this one, and this actually they made into a movie, which I started like a couple months ago, and then I realized it was the movie for this book, and I was like, oh, let me pause this movie real quick. So yeah, this is The Perfect Find, another classic romance by Tia Williams. Honestly, I don't even need to know what this book is about, and I don't really know, except I'm pretty sure it's in New York, because I'm pretty sure all of Tia Williams' books are set in New York, which is wonderful since I'm a New Yorker. But yeah, 40-year-old former it girl. So this is going to be an adult romance, like actually properly adults. I love this. Yeah, honestly I have no idea what this is about. I'll leave a little thing on the bottom. And then another Tia Williams book, I acquired an arc of Audrey and Bash Are Just Friends, which is highly anticipated, like literally my highest anticipated read of this year. I mentioned it in last week's video, but this is not really a sequel to 7 Days in June, but it features the daughter of Eva, who is the main character in 7 Days in June, and it features Audrey and then her love story. So this is a YA because she's still 16, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, they're juniors. And so it features her love story in high school, which is like, if you read 7 Days in June, Audrey was just, I loved her. She was so funny, so witty, so intelligent too. And she was like low-key kind of like, not scamming because she had real advice, but she was having her little like therapist moment, you know? And then her mom put a stop to that real quick. But yeah, I'm really excited. Also, just friends. Does this mean it's like a friends to lovers? Meet Bash, mysterious new senior, everyone's crush. Oh, I love when it's like everyone's crush and like she gets the man. Yeah. Okay, I'm just so excited for this. I'm gonna like try to read the other Tia Williams books before this, but like I might just really want to read this. Another new arc I want to read is Love and Focus. This is obviously queer, obviously sapphic. Look how pretty this cover is. I just really like it. This is a second chance romance, and if you know anything about me, second chance romances are my absolute favorite, because there's always that little like jealousy, that little possessiveness. There's always that like, you were mine first. Yeah, so love this. I think both of them are Korean, because I think it's set in Korea. I'm not sure. This one is coming out in May 27th, so yeah. Okay, so I'm not sure who Gemma is, but Gemma, she is a romance columnist who is freshly dumped by her fiance and everyone she's ever loved, right? So she believes that she can't have true love, so now she's gonna throw herself into her work when there's a new project that throws her in with Celeste, who is the really hot photographer. Okay, so yeah, she is quite the really hot photographer that broke her heart 8 years ago. Wonderful. It sounds like a time. What is this? Another sapphic romance? What? Backhanded compliments. This one, like, genuinely, this one has me foaming at the mouth for I don't even know what reason. Like, the cover is not that extraordinary, but just like I just love this. Okay, I love it. This is Backhanded Compliments. I don't know anything about this except that they're rival tennis players that I'm pretty sure have like a little like booty call moments, like late night messages. Yeah, and like, oh, she thinks that she's messing with her head to throw off her game. Yeah, there's gonna be miscommunication, which I don't really like miscommunication, but like when they're rivals, yeah. So yeah, rival tennis player, her dream being the best women's tennis player in the world. Another arc. I literally just like picked all my favorite arcs that I got. The Night and the Moth by Rachel Gillick. I have not read One Dark Window. It literally left Kindle Unlimited, so I fear this is probably gonna get read before One Dark Window. But this is a gothic romantasy, which, oh, look how pretty. I didn't even realize. It's really pretty. Which yeah. Goodreads is kind of putting this in like the romance genre, which I'm kind of confused because I thought it was like fantasy. But let's take a read at this. A gothic, miscloaked tale of a young prophetess who is forced on an impossible quest with the one devilishly handsome knight whose future is beyond her sight. Wait, that rhymed. I love that. Perfect for fans of Jennifer L. Armentrout and Leigh Bardugo. So yes, it is a romantasy. Might be more romance focused then if people are putting it in romance category, but romantasy, a knight, what did you say? Not a priestess, a prophetess. Then these are library copies and then my own copies. So Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies. Yes, this is, I mean, this is like the spring book. Everyone constantly talks about this book. Really pretty papers. And this is written like diary format, which you guys would not know this, but when I was in like 4th or 5th grade, I wanted to be a writer, okay? I wanted to be a writer, so what would I, like, basically, I was always a reader, and I would read a lot. And then I was like, you know what, I want to write too. So I would read a lot of, like, books written in diary format in French. And those were, like, my shit. Like, I love that shit. And so I would try to not recreate, but like write my own books in diary format on Wattpad. A rite of passage, of course, for any Gen Z. And I don't think I've read a diary format book since then. So this is going to like literally bring me back a decade. Everyone like speaks so highly of this book and about this series. So of course I want to get to the series, and it just feels really spring. And apparently this has like fairies in their most like creature evil form. Like I feel like a lot of people write fairies in the fae as like hot humans, but this has them as like actual like creatures, which I went to a Waldorf school. I'm just dropping all the lore, which if you don't know what Waldorf schools are, I would either disregard or do a deep dive on it because it's interesting to say the least. But yeah, it's one of those very like naturey artsy schools where they let 6-year-olds just roam the forests on their own. You had us convinced that fairies existed, and we would be building like fairy houses in the woods like, yeah, 5-6 years old. And this has a romance. Apparently it's like oh, Cambridge professor, genius scholar. Oh, I love when like female characters are just so smart. So yeah, there's apparently a really cute romance, which is not like fully happening in this book, but I think in the second and definitely in the third book. And apparently she's kind of like autistic coded, and he's like golden retriever. So yeah, another book has a little wrapper. Oh, okay. The City in Glass by Nigibo. I have another book by Nigibo which I have not read, but this one has me very intrigued. Mostly because, like, this is me being dumb, but do you see how skinny this book is, right? So I thought it was a much bigger book. I thought a lot of pages. Turns out no, right? When I went to the library, I'm like, oh, I know this book. And I'm like, oh my God, it's so mini. The same thing happened to me with the book. What's it called again? Honestly, I'm not gonna remember. I'll put it right here because I remember the cover. Like, I know what the book is and I adored it. But it was also one of those cases where I thought it was a really big book and then it was a really skinny book and I wasn't sure if I was gonna take it out. Anyways, I ended up absolutely adoring that book. So I'm like, wait, second time's the charm? Like, what? Like, I have 2 pennies? So that's why I took it out. But I'm kind of like uncertain what the book is about, but I think it's like this girl who has to like protect her city after like it bursts in flames. And I think she might be like a goddess or something. Okay, a demon and an angel, a city. Okay, The City in Glass is both a brilliantly constructed history and an epic love story of death and resurrection, memory and transformation, redemption and desire strong enough to reduce a world to ashes and remake it anew. It's definitely something that I'm super interested in, so I will be reading it. And people do really like the author, and so I think it's gonna be a fun time. Then, This Is How You Lose the Time War. This is a sapphic. People are like confusing, like, okay, I've watched a lot of people read this book, and some people went into it thinking it was gonna be like a lit fic, but I'm pretty sure it's more like a sci-fi fantasy. So this is a sapphic sci-fi fantasy. Okay, in the ashes of a dying world, Red finds a letter marked burn before reading. So begins an unlikely correspondence between 2 rival agents in a war that stretches through the vast reaches of time and space. I think it's kind of heartbreaking though. The other thing that's kind of funny, or not funny, but I opened up the book, right? I'm like, first of all, it's short as hell, but like, look at these margins. Like, there's like 0.3 words on each page, genuinely. Like, some of these pages seems like I don't know, like we forgot to add words. So I'm probably gonna fly through this, but apparently the writing is a little, I don't know, like descriptive, kind of like profound. So it's not like something you fly through, but everyone loves this book. Everyone adores it. Everyone cries. Everyone just like lists it as their favorite book ever. So I think I'm really gonna have a fun time. And of course, it's a sapphic book. I'm gonna read it. And then the last of the physical books, Half a Soul. This is another kind of like fairy book. So this is like a fae regency book, which like, I feel like spring is literally the month of Bridgerton, literally the month of regency. Like, you can't put Regency balls in any other season than spring. And I'm pretty sure it's because like they probably just came out in spring, like that's probably when it was set anyways. But I digress. She was cursed by a fae, and so now she has half a soul. So she's, I mean, I don't want to say she's psychotic, but like she's not fully human. You know what I mean? So she has no sense of fear, no sense of embarrassment. Kind of sounds like she's a sociopath, but like I don't think so. Like, yeah. So anyways, she is going to probably fall in love. Another one of those like Emily Wilde situations where like people really ride for this book. Now for the post-its. The post-it, we've got 4 books. First book is a book I already have downloaded on my Kindle, First Time Caller by B.K. Borson. This is one of those like, oh, I feel like love is fake, like love is not real, and then they fall in love. It's a romance book about people who don't believe that romance exists, and then they just fall in love and they live happily ever after, and people love the book, so I'm gonna read it. And it's pink and it's pretty, and yeah. The next book is The Rose Bargain, which is another romantasy. Now this book, apparently people call it a mix of Bridgerton and The Cruel Prince, which I really like. The Cruel Prince, I know a lot of people didn't like it, but I read it and I still think about it to this day. So I'm a Cruel Prince fan, I am. And I'm also a Bridgerton fan, and someone specifically said this is for fans of season 2 of Bridgerton, aka Kate and Anthony's season and their love story. Now, that was my favorite season of Bridgerton ever. Literally my favorite season. So I think this book is going to be absolutely perfect, and it's actually in transit, so I'm gonna pick it up from the library very soon. Oh, also apparently it's for like the eldest daughters, which like that's literally me. That's why I loved season 2 of Bridgerton so much. So I think this is gonna be the most perfect book ever, and I'm really hoping to love it. And once again, I'm in a romantasy kick, so I'm probably gonna devour it. Next, Sword Heart. This is an arc I have, but it's already published, so yeah, I'm a bad arc reader. I'm sorry. But yes, this is another romantasy. It's about this girl who literally wanted to herself on a sword, right? Because she was like going to be forced to marry this guy so that they can steal, so that the family can steal her money that she got because her other husband died, right? And she's like, you know what, I'm not gonna live this horrible life anymore. So she goes to do it. But then right when she does it, a man appears. A man literally like is in the sword and comes out of the sword. Okay, as you can tell, I have read the beginning of the book. I'm like 8% in. But anyways, the man leaves the sword, he comes out the sword and is like, what the hell are you doing, girl? And she's like, where the hell did you come from? And he's like, girl, I'm in the sword. Like, was it not clear? I'm in the sword. I'm like the sword guy. And she's like, what the hell? Like just let me. And he's like, no, like why would I let you do that, fair maiden? Like, also it's set in like the 1300s, I'm pretty sure. She's like, why would I let you do that? And then she's like, because I'm obviously in a horrible predicament, like just like let me. And he's like, what the hell? And so he's like trying to like save her, and then they're gonna go on a quest. Then the last book I want to read is Maurice, which Maurice by E.M. Forster or Foster. Anyways, is a queer classic, and every single queer classic I've read, I've fallen head over heels in love with. So I'm gonna read it because I'm gonna love it, and like everyone I've seen who read the book loved it, and a lot of people have read both Giovanni's Room and Maurice and loved both. And since I love Giovanni's Room, I'm gonna love Maurice. So obviously I'm gonna try to tackle all the queer classics and read it and also love it. I think it's set in 1920, and it's like a heartbreaking, so it's definitely not happily ever after. No, it's definitely not. It's heartbreaking. Which all queer classics are heartbreaking, but like I mentioned earlier in the video, I do love a good heartbreaking queer book, and there we go. that is the end of the TBR. I think the entire stack is just like an embodiment of spring, except maybe you Dreamed of Empires. Like, I don't really know when that was set, but I saw the green in the cover and I was like, yeah, that's spring. You know, like green is spring. Green is spring and math is red. Like, don't fight me in the comments. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Let me know if you've read any of these, if you want to read any of these, if you want any reading vlogs about these. I'm gonna try to like get back on my grind with the reading vlogs, but I will be honest, I am working quite a lot recently. I've been doing like 30-hour weeks, which honestly aren't even that bad. But the big problem is that I've been doing overnight shifts, which is from 9 p.m. to 6 a.m. and then I like sleep. And so then I kind of like ruin the day because like I wake up later and then I don't want to put on makeup and I don't want to film, and so we're gonna have to figure that out. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Once again, the books fell. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. Once again, if you guys enjoyed, please consider liking and subscribing, and I will see you in my next video very soon. Bye guys.